yeah, if you think you're going to do it in your own strength, then you know what? Yeah, you can do it.
COVID, it's been helping people move their businesses from offline or brick and mortar to online.
Systems are more important than skills as an entrepreneur today.
It's totally okay to reinvent yourself multiple times, especially when you're an entrepreneur.
Welcome to Profitable Coaching Conversations with Wendy Y. Bailey. If you're a coach, speaker, or industry expert, you're in the right place for sales and marketing wisdom and insight to grow your coaching business. Now, here's your host, Income Acceleration Mentor, Wendy Y. Bailey.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome. I want to just tell you how delighted I am to introduce you to another amazing guest. I'm Wendy Y., and I want to introduce you to Joanna Pohorski. Did I say it right, Joanna?
Phenomenal. Thank you so much, Wendy Y.
Awesome. I'm glad. Sometimes my phonetics comes into play, and I love that I get it right. Joanna is a business and life goals coach, and I've been a member of her private Facebook community for a while, and I love that she shares really meaty content that's designed to help with productivity and accountability and helping you reach your goals. I'm really excited to have our conversation today. Welcome, Joanna.
Thank you so much, Wendy Y. I'm so pleased to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, so am I. So tell us more about what you do. Like I kind of gave the Wendy Y interpretation and perspective of what you do, but tell us more about what you do, who you serve, and the kind of things you work with your clients on.
Absolutely. So I would say that my journey that I'm on today and the way I was served today started actually about 20 years ago when I started out in the corporate environment. And I've run through quite a few different positions, starting very junior and ending 20 years later, heading up the UK business for an engineering company, which had more than 70 million turnover and 350 people. So it's relatively substantially sized business. Yeah. And what I found throughout all these years, working also in different industries as both a leader, but also as a management consultant, that companies, whether they are small, medium, or large sized, whether they are global or more local, they tend to have continuously and consistently certain criteria and ways of working that actually make them successful. And this is something that has fascinated me for a very long time. And I have really observed this over years and also tested it, especially when it came to transformation and change, to actually help people to improve the business going forward. Because, of course, there are processes and systems, but without people, it's the people who make the business work, really, and how they interact with each other as well.
Yeah, so it sounds to me like you understand the organization of the business and the processes, but you also understand the role people play in that. So much of what I've seen you post is about productivity, but it's also about the mindset around everything that people do within an organization. And just for the sake of definition, let's just say an organization can be one person, like a solopreneur, or it can be a full-blown corporate organization with hundreds and thousands of people. So I love that you have that in mind. I want to highlight something else from your bio, and then I'll let you kind of finish your story. You're certified in project management.
That's correct.
So because of that certification, I know, because in my former corporate career, I was a project manager as well. So I know that brings a sense of order in your thinking when it comes to organizations and, accountability as well. Would you agree with that?
Yes, absolutely. And it's quite interesting. And thank you for picking this out, because I find that when you are the smaller the company you have and you run, the more of actually the project management skills are going probably to serve you relative to the size of the company. So the smaller company, the more relevant those project management skills might be really coming in handy and help you to structure yourself, organize yourself. And then you mentioned mindset and accountability. And when you're part of this bigger organization, you have a boss, you have colleagues, there's a constant pull on you to to be ready for a deadline, have a presentation prepared, show up with a client. Whereas when you're a solopreneur, this pull cannot be that immediate necessarily, or that strong, or the consequences of not doing something or not achieving something might only show over a longer period of time, not instantly. So all of a sudden, being able to organize yourself, find that motivation, find that right mindset, that constructive mindset, and hold yourself to account becomes so much more important.
Yeah, I love that you shared that, because I think as solopreneurs, what happens to us is we think we can just do what we need to do today and it won't affect tomorrow. You know what I mean? And I love that you shared, it's pretty insightful, that what you sort of drop, doesn't get done today, shows up over a longer period of time. So if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, what I want you guys to really hear is, when you get your things in order today, you're going to see your business and the goals and your success achievable in a shorter window than if you just don't get organized and don't get yourself together. That's what you meant, right?
Absolutely. And building on what you've just said, it's also where having a vision and having that longer term reason why comes in to become so powerful, because between the further future and where we are today, if we don't really know where we're going, how can we then build a plan, know what we need to do today and beyond today, tomorrow, in a week's time, in a month's time, right? So having a vision, having the reason why, and then putting goals in place and reverse engineering, which is then where the more detailed planning is coming in, is really helping to build a future beyond just today. What's important and maybe urgent today, but might not be necessarily the right thing to do to achieve those goals on the way to the longer term vision.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very, very cool. So who's a typical client for you, Joanna?
So I work a lot with small business owners, entrepreneurs who have quite a wide breadth of challenges. So they can reach from actually not following a passion, but maybe not being very clear about the business element. So how to turn a hobby into a business, which can be very demanding. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with wealth dynamics. So how we identify what our strengths and maybe not so strength parts, so maybe weaknesses, opportunities are. And really understanding this, very often when we start a business, it's built around a hobby or a passion. So it's actually something that we might be extremely good at, and relative for us, it is quite easy. But
not in the business.
Exactly. But the business, this is where tax comes in, this is where numbers come in, financial accounts, legal matters, everything that maybe has nothing to do where we thought what we actually want to do. However, having this structure, that business wrapper, is absolutely critical to the longer term success of a venture, and not leaving it until it's maybe too late to put some fundamentals in place. It is very, very important, and especially where something starts with passion, I see this recurrently, that the business side can be left unattended, and there might be some significant financial disadvantages later down the line, going back to what you were saying, what we do today versus how do we plan for the tomorrow and beyond. So this is definitely something I help with. And a couple of clients I'm also working with, they were looking more at mindset challenges. So there was, for example, someone I worked with who did not start the day well, let's say, and it was all about working out what their actual vision is. So what's going to get them out of bed, their reason why, and reverse engineer from there. And it really completely transformed his life. So within a couple of
I'll bet.
Absolutely. So even I was surprised, because it went so rapidly. And they kind of knew where the challenge was, but they didn't really know how to overcome it. So it was about really helping with this clarity, and then finding a morning routine, a daily routine organization across the day as well, to help them. So we looked at anything from blocking different types of work to become more efficient, to using
on the calendar. You're talking about on the calendar.
Yes, that's correct, on the calendar. Also color coding those blocks, just so to see if the balance between different types of activities, working on the today and working on the business for the future, was balanced. Things like Pomodoro, just to talk about specifics, where someone focuses very, very strongly for 25 minutes. And then they have a 5-minute break to really do whatever they like in the 5 minutes, and then be really refocused and re-energized to do another spurt. So it's a bit, in project management, there is a strategy or a type of project management called Agile. And this is where you work in sprints. So this is kind of like project management sprints.
Gotcha. The thing that I love about what you said, I'm a former project manager and a former process manager. And, I went through back in the day, I went through the Covey way of organizing and planning your day. So I went through that. So I use the blocking, I use the color coded, I use all of that kind of stuff. And it really does work, you guys. The thing that I heard about what you do in terms of how you truly serve your clients, I heard some purpose work. I heard some mindset work. I heard some, accountability toward goals. I also heard some business structure, and the business structure being more about daily actions and weekly actions and working with your clients. Did I get it all?
Yes, plus also on the business side, really looking at the fundamental blocks of what a business needs to have in place. So on the financial side, having key performance indicators, what should they be? Also looking at which processes have to be standardized and optimized, because that's the only way to then outsource or delegate them to ensure the consistency and quality and to grow. And this is one of the challenges that many solopreneurs face, is where they are just not prepared, organized in a way, set up in a way where they're able to scale. And there are consistent practices of what you have to have in place to be able to scale, but it always links back to being able to delegate, be in the position to delegate. And this is not just processes, this can be very much a mindset challenge as well. And also to outsource to someone who can do the same activity or block of activities faster, better, and cheaper as well.
Gotcha. Is there a particular type of entrepreneur that you work with? Are they primarily service-based? Are they primarily brick and mortar? Like, who do you primarily serve? Service or brick and mortar, or combination, or maybe a particular industry? Like, I serve primarily coaches and people who are in what I call the transformation space. So, coaches, speakers, trainers, consultants, sometimes it's marketplace influencers and industry experts and subject matter experts. So that's who I primarily serve. What about you? Who do you primarily serve? What industry?
Yes. So I have been a property investor for the last 15 years. And initially, most of my clients came from the property investment background. And this was not just in terms of, brick and mortar, actually, literally in this case, creating their portfolios, so really getting up on the property investment ladder. It's also the services around the property industry that and solopreneurs and entrepreneurs who service that industry as well.
Very cool.
So, and this is, again, this has come through my network and the large community of people I have been interacting with and involved with for the last 15 years.
So I gotta tell you, I hear a little bit of an accent. So tell us where you're from and the richness of your accent, what it is.
So I'm amazed how you really pick up on things, because it's actually, so I speak 5 languages, and I come to a moment how this came about. And actually, I've been told in the past that the only language where I don't have an accent is actually Spanish. which is the language
interesting.
I learned last. It's actually quite funny. So the Spanish placed me either, somewhere in South America, and the South Americans maybe in Brazil. It's quite fascinating. Spanish speakers in South America. So I was born in Poland, and this was still during communism. And I think it's very difficult to explain to someone who has not experienced a real limitation on their freedom, what it actually means. So, people say COVID is limiting. I mean, it's nothing like it. A system like this really limits you in what you can say, what you can do, and who you can be as a result. So as a family, we emigrated to Austria. So after Polish being my first language, I then picked up German as my second language. Okay. And I have realized very quickly that through language, you can actually get access to people, and people are...
Yeah, it creates a connection like no other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And also, without speaking a language, you will never get the same level of access to a culture and to a society. So really understanding where, who you're part of and in the location where you live. So languages, luckily, I've been also able to pick up quite quickly. So while at school, I picked up French and Spanish as well. And that's four. And okay, I actually didn't count one. So also at school, you will not believe it. At that time, Latin was still
Latin. Okay. But Latin helps you when you're dealing in the sciences. You can look at the etymology of words from a Latin perspective and really gain a lot. I think that's phenomenal. I really do.
It was fascinating. So there were some good foundations for the Latin, for the Roman languages of French, Spanish, and I spoke Portuguese for a while. So from
and Spanish and Portuguese are like cousins.
Yes. So actually speaking Spanish helped me to pick up Portuguese in 3 months. And this was why I lived in Angola. I lived and worked in Angola for over a year. And this was an incredible experience as well, and really taught me and allowed me to appreciate, the luck of where I had been born and the opportunities I had, but also how much simple things can help others and support others that, I would have never thought before. So it's been it had truly been a transformational experience for me personally. And unfortunately, because I didn't have, after that year and a half, the opportunity to continue with Portuguese as quickly as I picked it up, unfortunately, I lost it over time as well. So this was the 6th one that I had spoken as well.
Nice. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll do our signature Profitable Wisdom segment, okay?
Hi, I'm Allison Lex, here with Jenny Wright, and you're tuned in to the Profitable Coaching Conversation Show with Wendy Y. Bailey.
Like, comment, review, and subscribe now so you're notified when the next episode goes live.
Hi, I'm Simon T. Bailey, and you are tuned into the Profitable Coaching Conversations with Wendy Y. Bailey. Listen, it's an amazing show. Please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to this channel so you know when the next episode is coming your way.
Hi, I'm Gina Calvano, and you're tuned into the Profitable Coaching Conversation Show with Wendy Y. Bailey. Like, comment, review, and subscribe now so you're notified when the next episode goes live.
So welcome back. We're talking with Joanna Pohorski, and it's been a really interesting conversation all around organization and goal setting and mindset and purpose, and just really looking at your business in a way that you put the pieces together so that you can scale and you can be profitable. So let's jump into our signature segment, the Profitable Wisdom segment. You ready, Joanna?
I am.
Okay, awesome. So who's had the greatest influence on you in your life?
So I actually thought quite a lot about that question, because I have been very privileged to be surrounded by many great people and have the support of people on my career and personal path. However, what I would say has influenced me most were the environments overall I found myself with. And the environments where I didn't speak the language, I didn't understand the culture initially, at different ages, different circumstances, starting from scratch 3 times in my life, and also having to succeed. I always had the drive to succeed. And that's not necessarily just monetary. It's about, for me, succeeding is the feeling of happiness. And that can be found in many different ways. So for me, what has really shaped me, having to turn any situation into something where I can feel happy and I can, it works for me, I'm in flow, and also I can add value to whatever the circumstances, whatever the challenges our people are facing, I can add value.
Yeah. There's I'm certified in neurolinguistic programming, and there's an assumption is really what it is, but it's presuppositions is what they call them, that says the person with the greatest flexibility in the system has control of the system. And when you were talking, that's kind of what I heard, because you stay flexible because of whatever language barriers or whatever's going on, you found a way to flow in the system, in the environment, and that works really, really well for you. I also love that you said it was more about the environment than a specific person, because the environments you've been in have just made such a tremendous impact in a very positive way, like at a very high level on your life and career. So I think that's awesome. I think that's very interesting.
Yes, and I have to say it's sometimes when I look back and I try to really think about individuals who have helped me and supported me and believed in me, where sometimes even I didn't, I realized that it wasn't just them, it was the whole environment, it was the whole situation that really made that change possible and that stepping up for me possible, that adaptation possible. So they might have been the trigger, but there was much more than the individual in place or in front of me, or where I've been in front at that point in time.
Yeah, awesome. And what's been the best business advice you've ever received?
So there are actually two. One is monetary and one is mindset. So the monetary one is, and this is something that recurrently comes through when you look at any businesses, when you look at the data and facts around startup businesses, how many make it. And the consistent message is cash flow is king. So I spoke before about the fact that many businesses are found on passion and something that people are very good at that might have nothing to do with finances or numbers, and not paying attention to all the incomings and outgoings, not knowing how much money there is available to spend, to invest in the business, to grow the business, to maybe pay people you're working with, to pay yourself even, of course, which is often forgotten. It's absolutely critical. So cash flow, it truly is king. And sometimes people say, oh, it's all about the money. The reality is, that if you cannot pay your bills, how can you continue to pursue your passion, right? So as challenging as this concept might sometimes seem, in contrast to a passion someone wants to pursue and add value to others this way, money just must not be forgotten. And the second piece of business advice, which I thought, and I think about almost every day, I think, is to never give up. And this is not to say that you just keep doing the same thing and expect a better, different result.
You shift,
this is the definition of
you adapt, you implement change. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's about evolving and pivoting and looking really around who does what you do or aspire to do the best way or better than you, and really understand how they do it and where the gap is. So how can you do it better? And this is not necessarily to say that you're doing anything wrong, but there's always this incremental improvement. So I believe in continuous improvement and looking at not what's not good, but what can be improved, always that little bit more better, because this then translates into the value you can add to others. And especially in the coaching space, this is really the driver for most people, to add value to someone else, help someone else to solve their problem, their challenge.
Yeah. The thing that I found in 19 plus years for me is I don't give up. I just learn from whatever's happened. I learn, and then I just, keep it moving. I shift, I pivot, I adapt, I change. And I'm the only thing that I can truly have an impact on So I don't try to change all that other stuff. I try to look at me and where I am, and then I can change whatever I need to. I thought you were going to say, when you said one was a monetary and one was a mindset, I thought you were going to say mindset is everything, right?
Right.
Because that's my personal mantra. Mindset is everything, right? So when you think about all the other stuff happening, it's not the stuff, it's how you respond to the stuff, whatever it is, that's going to make the difference in your life. So you just kind of really hit home with that one for me. So
Yes,
what's been the largest single sale in your business? What was the amount and what were the circumstances? I always like to ask this question because I want viewers and listeners thinking about possibility, things that they may not have considered before.
Yes, and I think this is so important. And I want to start by saying that for me, actually the biggest personal achievement in terms of rates and really getting paid for the value I add was doubling my rates. So this was a moment where I realized that actually, the value that I offer based on all the incredible transformations I've seen has to be reflected at the level of the value I actually provide. So doubling the rates, I have to say, was my personally biggest achievement that I have seen. And when I realized that I just have to do it because it has to be concurrent with the value that I've seen, the transformation I've seen people make. And so my biggest sale has been where I signed 3 clients within 1 week for one-to-one coaching. And that was for at the level of £1,000 each for that particular block of coaching.
What is that in terms of American dollars?
So that's about 1,500, I think 1,300 maybe per person.
Okay.
In a single week, and
a $5,000 week, woohoo!
Yes,
almost $5,000 week, yeah.
Absolutely, and it's very interesting because it's always relative to your personal experience and what you reference it to. So I thought, in the corporate world, one of the biggest sales I had was actually around, when you add it all up, over 30 million pounds over the life of the project. So this is maybe $38 million. And I think, yes, absolutely. And I think, in comparison, of course, it's a great week for me. However, that's quite a gap, right? And talking really about mindset, you can take the half glass empty or half glass full view.
Yeah, and it's also not comparing apples to apples. You know what I mean? You're talking about apples and bananas or apples and oranges. It's not the same. So even though there's a huge gap, that $5,000 week was probably felt like a $38 million week for you, sale for you. So yeah, it's relative, like you said. It's totally relative.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what you actually brought up is really, really important. So this is also something I see with clients, is where they actually don't compare necessarily, apples with apples, in when they look at references in terms of, what does someone else do, or how do I perform? What does my success look like? And that actually can be quite negatively impacting on the mindset and on the motivation of an individual. So you're absolutely right with that.
Yeah, for sure. So what has helped you move through those times when you thought of giving up? You talked about, understanding never give up, but what has helped you? What are some of your tools, or what's a strategy you've used when you've been in that space?
Yes. So using business terms, I have macro and micro motivations to get through this. So on a macro level, personally, I believe, I'm not sure, well, I'm pretty sure you're familiar with the term emotional journey. So when we start something new, or when there is a challenge in our life, very often we go through a series of emotions that can start, that especially with change, start very positive. We start something new, exciting, and this can be actually at the beginning of every day. We're really excited about the day starting. We have a good morning routine, but then things happen, life happens, right? So maybe that motivation starts ebbing off. Maybe we get to a low point in the day or during that particular change. And then it's really at the low point, whatever that low point means, is how we're going to deal with that. That's going to make the difference. And the formula I use that at this low point, whenever it happens, your vision, really something that your reason why has to be greater than that negative feeling. So the clearer your vision, the better your vision board, the stronger your reason why, and the more personal your reason why, the easier it's going to get out of that particular, maybe not on positive or even negative space on a macro level. On a micro level, we're talking then specifically about the activities you can do to really lift yourself up. And this is going to be very, very depending on you as an individual. So for example, when someone tells me, go for a quick run just to re-energize, this is for me a horror vision. I don't want to go for a quick run. It doesn't suit me as a person. I don't like
no, I'm not doing that. Yeah. Yeah.
So it wouldn't work for me. However, I know people where a quick run really gets their hormones going and the energy levels, and it really gives them the break, even if it's just round the block for 15 minutes. So for me, it is sometimes calling a friend, sometimes it's going to be even looking at social media, something uplifting, it can be a cat kitten video, if this is going to make you smile, this might be all that you need. Obviously, I'm not suggesting that this should be a 1 hour event, because then we're getting into inefficiency and being sidetracked. But, knowing what's going to make you smile, uplift you, make you happy. And it's so different. So I can, for example, say I live in an apartment, 8th floor, where I have uninterrupted views of Northwest London. And I just love it, because all I need to do is look out of the window and see the sunset and I'm smiling. Or, even today it's a cloudy day, but, this makes me happy. And this is one of the reasons why I bought the apartment as well. So knowing yourself really helps you to minimize the time, because everyone is going to have a challenging moment and not so happy moment. But knowing yourself and having your list of things you can do to make yourself feel better, depending on how much time you have, what works for you, is really going to minimize this really wasted, unproductive time, unhappy time that you're going to spend in that state.
So that's great. So what has been your greatest personal accomplishment outside of your business?
So I have to say that probably two things. First of all, I underestimate how much positive impact I've had around me among friends and family. So this is something, when I help or, I've organized trips, I've organized get-togethers, really very social elements of life, and sometimes more practical ones as well. I just do it because, it's the human connections, friends, it's family. Of course I will do it. I don't think about it twice, but I very often underestimate the impact it has on others and actually what it means to them, particularly at that point in time. And this has been coming back to me in a positive way, reflected onto me in the recent couple of years, particularly strongly. And the second one is, for me, a lot of things happen in Angola, and I keep coming back to that. It's really having seen how one person, in that case me, the impact you can make on human life. And we're not talking just individuals, because these were whole families where one person being promoted meant that the whole family, we're talking potentially dozens of people.
A domino effect, yeah.
Absolutely. All of a sudden they had private healthcare, all of a sudden they had safe housing. I mean, these are things that living in the Western world, many of us,
we don't know,
just wouldn't, we just don't know what we don't know. But seeing this, it had a really profound effect on me, and really the choices I have been making since.
Yeah, awesome. So we're going to take another break, and when we come back, I'd love to hear your parting thought.
Thank you.
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Brian Oles from Black Speakers Network, and you know what time it is. You're tuned in to the Profitable Coaching Conversations show with Wendy Y. Bailey. I want you to go ahead right now and like, comment, subscribe, and review right now so you get notified when the next episode goes live.
Hi, I'm Joanna Pohorski, and you are tuned into Profitable Coaching Conversation Show with Wendy Y. Bailey. Like, comment, and subscribe now so you get notified when the next episode goes live.
Hi, I'm Charvette Mitchell, and you're tuned into the Profitable Coaching Conversation Show with Wendy Y. Bailey. Like, comment, review, and subscribe now so you're notified when the next episodes go live.
So welcome back. We've been talking with Joanna Pohorski, and she shared a lot of really yummy lessons that I hope you were paying attention to. But Joanna, if there's one lesson, if you will, one thought that you really want people to walk away from our conversation, what would that one thought be?
I think for me, it will be that to make your passion your life, you have to also incorporate the business elements into it. And you don't have to do it yourself. You can outsource, delegate it. However, to have a sustainable business that makes you happy, that allows you to add the value you want to others, you have to cover the business side as well.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. And I know you have a gift for everyone. It's the accountability checklist. Tell us a little bit about it, and we'll put the link in the show notes.
Absolutely. So accountability can be a very challenging word sometimes, because I have worked with a number of clients who actually had not so good experiences with accountability, where it had been in the past used as a beating stick, effectively, and this left its mark on them and how they perceived it. So in my view, how accountability should be leveraged and to its best potential is where you, again, understand how you work best as a person. And what accountability does is it puts in a safety net, or a set of fail-safes, I call it, that really play to your strengths and weaknesses and really help you to continue to do what you need to do to achieve your goal and achieve your vision. And there is so many ways how you can do it, through processes, through your environment, through the people who you know and have around you, or can find if you don't have them yet. And there's absolutely no need to be concerned about accountability or really think about it as something negative. It really can be and will be whatever you decide it needs to be for you to allow you to achieve that success you're looking for.
Nice, nice. Thank you so much for being here, Joanna.
Thank you so much, Wendy Y. Real pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. So we'll be back with another episode of the Profitable Coaching Conversation Show. Be sure to check us out at the after party at profitablecoachingsociety.com. We'll see you next time. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Thanks so much for tuning into Profitable Coaching Conversations with Wendy Y. Bailey. Be sure to join us at the after party at www.profitablecoachingsociety.com. We'll see you next time for more sales and marketing wisdom and insight from Wendy Y. and her amazing guests. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you know when new episodes are posted.